Epik Mellon podcast, conversations with the real humans behind broadband networks, cybersecurity, and the future of communications. Brought to you by QA Cafe.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Epik Mellon podcast. I am Jason Walls from QA Cafe here in sunny Tucson, where we have freakishly weird weather for the desert. Like every time we come to a Broadband Forum meeting, for some reason, we're at the Broadband Forum right now. I'm here with Jeevithan Muttu from Motive, and I wanted to talk to him today because, the show is all about finding out more about the people who make everything go, and you've been doing this for a while, and I feel like you have some pretty good insight as to how things have changed over time. But one of the things that I try to always get into is the fact that almost none of us got into networking on purpose. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. As always, this show is brought to you by my employers at QA Cafe. And so the views expressed by myself or Jeevithan do not resemble those of QA Cafe or its ownership. And the same goes for Motive. Correct. So we can say whatever we want from here on out. Since it is brought to you by QA Cafe, it's brought to you by our three great products, including CD Router, the industry standard test platform for broadband gateways, Wi-Fi devices, and other customer premises equipment with over 10,000 test cases predefined by the experts that I know back home at the office that can help you build better products overall. CloudShark Enterprise, which is our enterprise-grade solution for packet analysis that can be deployed anywhere, anytime to make things safe, secure, and now the ability to handle very large captures, multi-gigabyte captures, break them up for you automatically and help you get to the insights you need in network packet data faster. And then Packet Viewer, which is the power behind CloudShark, which allows you to add Wireshark-like functionality to any web-based cybersecurity or network analysis platform. That's it. All right.
Hi. Right.
Welcome.
My pleasure. So it's my turn to sell my product. Yeah. Is that?
I'm all for that. I have no qualms whatsoever. People really resist that stuff a lot, but I don't know. Unless one of the things I like about working for QA Cafe is that it's preserved a little bit of the neutrality that I used to have working at the university. Yeah. Right. So I'm never in a space where I'm going to accidentally promote one of my competitors or anything like that, And I
think you're in a unique situation, which is great.
Yeah.
A lot of people know you as Broadband Forum member.
Yeah, right.
You're part of BBF,
right?
Less so as QA Cafe, but it's nice a blending of the two.
Right, and a complete coincidence that this show ends up talking a lot about the Broadband Forum. But
I think you're in a unique situation, which is
yeah. And I like doing it. Yes. So in front of the cactuses, no less. No. So no, that's what I was talking about is I feel like, and this happened to me, I never intended, and even though I did some engineering stuff in the past, I never intended to get into this space. So I'm curious about your story about how you got there.
Sure. I'm happy to share my story. So I'm Jeevithan Muttu. Today I work as a VP Product and R&D at Motive. Perhaps we'll start with a little bit of background on Motive and then go back.
We should talk about Motive because Motive is not accidentally responsible for some of my career.
Oh, because of the early contributions to TR6 land. Yeah, for sure. So Motive started out of Austin, Texas, 28 years ago. Later we grew as part of acquisitions by Alcatel, then later by Nokia. And then early last year we got spun out of Nokia. Now we operate as a standalone company with the headquarters out of Canada with a global presence.
Like this.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. But what I like to say is that we are back to our DNA. We're back to our roots as device management, service management.
For sure.
Our company.
Yeah, and knowing everybody that I knew back in the day, that exactly what it feels like.
Right. And the most interesting thing is that we still have folks from early days of Motive, right?
Yeah.
The original contributors.
Yeah. Some of whom are people who are integral to the creation of Tier 69, by the way.
Right. So we are very thankful for that, right? And we're very proud of that history. So a little bit about Motive's parent company, right? That tells my history as well. So Motive comes under Canada's largest software company that no one really hears about, called Constellation. It's a $100 billion company. they buy and hold. So they buy different software companies, different hardware focus. Doesn't matter which segment you are. They have different portfolios that they run it under. And our parent group is called Lumen Group, which is a media and telecommunications focused group out of Constellation. So we have a sort of a big pockets or deep pockets behind us.
That's cool.
But we are run as independent companies, and we are run with, just like you would find as a, nimble, agile, mid-sized company.
Right.
So that gives us the flexibility, but at the same time, the backing of a bigger organization behind us, so that we are confidently go out and offer our solutions.
That is kind of very nice balance, because I don't have that power.
I think it's a unique situation, and it has been great. So what does that has to do with me? I originally started off at another company called Incognito.
Yeah.
Right. It was also part of the same Lumen Group. In fact, Incognito was the first company that Lumen acquired. This was back in 2014. And today Lumen itself is about 35 to 38 company. I lost track of where we are now, but you could see the tremendous amount of acquisitions they have done in the last, 10-year time span. So I moved from Incognito to another acquisition when that happened a couple of years ago. And then when they acquired Motive, they asked me to move over to Motive, and I managed product and R&D there.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's where my history is. So I've been involved with Broadband Forum from the days at Incognito.
So but networking technology in general, like what have you done? It doesn't have to be education background. Anything. Like I've had people talk to me about how they were in construction before they got into networking. Okay.
I was in live video production.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you hear that, Ken? Live video production.
Yes. So one of the internship I did in my undergrad was to work for a company out of Ottawa called Ross Video. So they made video mixers, also known as video switchers, graphic design systems, controllers for audio. So a lot of live video production equipment were manufactured, so hardware plus software. We sold to major networks, TV stations and networks, and also stadiums and sports arenas and so on. Anywhere you see live video being produced, the Ross equipment are there. So I started off with that. It was an interesting story. So about 15 years ago or so, I automated ABC News out of New York. Wow. So their 5 p.m., 6 p.m. newscast was automated using my software called Overdrive. Yeah. It actually automates your newscast for consistency purposes.
So like all the transitions, like timing.
Yes. Because if you look at a newscast, there's a lot of consistency on a day-to-day basis, right? You start off with the headlines, and you go into breaks that come back with stories. So you can actually curate many of that.
And they put weather at the end to make sure everybody waits to watch the whole show.
So you can curate that. It's called a rundown, right? So you can curate the rundown. You get a lot of the prepackaged stuff built ahead of stuff. But our software allowed for breaking news to come in. We allowed for that agility to think. Cool. So that's where it started.
That's really fun.
Yeah. So, and then eventually moved over to video side on the broadband side. So meaning worked for operators on the video side. So RDK, I got involved with RDK.
Oh, okay.
Set-top box software development. That's how I got to know TR69.
Right.
So I did set-top box client-side implementation for TR69. And
awesome.
One day, a headhunter called up and said, "Hey, I see TR69 in your resume. Would you like to get an interview with Incognito?" And that's my life has
cool. That's very cool. Do you miss coding?
I do miss coding. Yes. But I have side projects that I'm involved with. So.
Yeah. Cool. I guess I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I remember what it was like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. But this whole AI stuff is very intriguing. Today I'm a product guy, but I'm quite intrigued by what AI could bring into from a coding aspect. It's not fully there yet, right? So AI is not going to do everything for you, but there's a significant level of automation that could happen from an AI aspect.
Yeah. And then it's we were just talking about this the other night, like, not just because we'll talk about this keeps coming up in terms of like, what does that mean? Right. And there are many aspects to what people think when you say those words out loud, when you say AI. And it even came up today where it's like, what is the difference between, a network that is designed to support AI applications versus using AI to support a network?
I stopped defining that, right? So about 6 months ago, I would say, no, that's LLM. Let's be specific.
Yeah.
This is Gen AI. But I think now it's so overwhelming that AI today means is LLM Gen AI.
Right. And not for nothing.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to mean probably for a while. Right. Even with so to define agentic AI, for people who don't know what that means, it just means when the LLM has the ability to make API calls and make decisions. Right. Even that is still based on the same model, right? The same thought model is there, which is kind of weird because LLMs make mistakes.
But that's it though, right? I mean, there's this notion of, hey, AI could do everything for you. It's not, right? It's basically a probabilistic based program that's now able to digest all the historic data,
right,
and come back with. I mean, at the end of the day, LLM predicts the next word, right? If you're talking about writing,
literally,
content, right?
Or the next pixel, and it's doing the image.
Exactly. It's still pre-programmed, but it's able to pivot and be able to pick up the right choice based on what you're looking for. So it's not going to replace workforce, but it's going to assist the work.
Right. And so we were talking about this at the bar last night, where it's like, interestingly enough, because everything goes in waves, right, and bubbles. And I actually think, because people are like, oh, it's going to, LLMs are going to make us all dumber because we don't have to think anymore, right, to do that. And I was like, actually, no. What I've learned is that, and this goes for YU and for code, I'll get to that eventually, like, you actually have to be a better writer or coder to use AI to do coding, because you need to be able to look at it and be like, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. And you have the situation with coding where people will build something and it works, but they haven't done any of the analysis to see why it worked. And maybe it's not going to work in every use case, and you have to do all these tests to make sure,
It's all the mindset, right?
Yeah.
You need to be ready to, you need to be able to adopt the new technologies, right? So you have to have that positive mindset to be able to be that early adopter, test with it, like play with it, understand, hey, can I incorporate it? Maybe it's not the right time. Wait for another, 4 months, 6 months to continue to test it, continue to incorporate. But the story about the calculators stuff, right? Calculators, when they came in, I'm sure there was arguments about.
Oh, there were, right? I mean, the Luddite argument is pretty solid every time it comes up, right?
So I think recently, Ronan, who was in one of the interviews earlier, talked about, apparently it was Plato or Socrates, one of them, that said even writing on a piece of paper was going to...
Yes. Right. I saw those. It came out where it was 2,500 years ago. They still complain about kids these days, right?
So because people use to remember many things in your brain power, and so they opposed the fact that you needed to write things down, right? So these are building, basic building blocks that we need to adopt and go from there.
Right.
But I also see some aspect of people completely resisting AI. Like I've seen development managers saying, okay, you bring in AI, and if there are bugs, have AI fix it. Right?
You're like, come on.
I think that's the opposite side. So I think you need to be flexible enough to understand what could it bring you. Like a lot of test automations could be done through AI today. Right? You pass in regular natural language input and have it actually automate test automation.
Yeah.
Boilerplate code like logging functions and other stuff, you can get it done through AI.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of it.
No, it is. And it's really, if you think about it, it's literally just the same process, right? It's like, okay, so what you're saying is if the AI has bugs, then the AI should fix the bugs. It's like, well, that's just the same, that's literally the same process as you telling your employee to do that. So what's the difference?
Yeah. So that's right. I think it's all mindset. You need to have the right mindset, a positive mindset to adopt.
The weird thing that has happened this time with this technology, though, is that normally, because I saw this meme today where it was like, you know, your reaction to technology will be the following, right? If it was something that existed when you were born, then it's just something that was.
Yeah.
If it's something that came out when you were a teenager to early 20s, then it was awesome and the best thing ever. And if it's something that came out when you're older, then you should resist it at all costs, right?
Yeah.
But it's flipped now. Like my oldest daughter and her friends and their generations, or Generation Z, whatever it is.
Not Gen Z, the one after.
Yeah, the one after.
Yeah.
They have somehow been tilled in a way that fighting AI is the thing.
I
heard call them clankers, right? Like,
I heard about that too.
Right.
It's interesting, right? Because they have been fed information about the negative aspect.
Yeah.
Right? What is the impact? Like these are they are the naive individuals coming up, right? And
yeah, it's true.
Is what they get fed with, right?
Right.
It's easy to.
It's stealing art.
Yeah, it's stealing art. So
it's not.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's about, I think there's a bit of an education.
And for a great exploration of that, go way back to like an episode from like almost, 2 years ago, 18 months ago with Diana from Marashlian and Donahue, where she was like an AI lawyer, right? And that's exactly what we started talking about. Is like, she's like, yeah, I know it's not stealing, but right now that's what courts are arguing about.
Yeah. No, I think governance structure has to come in. European countries are better at stepping up with the initial set of governance on any new technology innovation. So I think those kind of stuff have to be there for us to have a better future for AI in general.
Right. And to make people to change the culture in the future.
Yes, I think it will come. Yes. It has to. It ought to go.
And I mean, if it doesn't, it's like people are still going to use it anyway.
We'll think like someone will step up.
The numbers are insane in terms of just the number of users, just that ChatGPT has. So it's like you're going to fight that. Yeah, okay.
No. But the new content, it has to come from humans, right? Yeah. You could take AI can digest everything, just like Google search in the past, right? You can get everything, but if it's new content, it has to come from a human.
No, it does, and it's because it's the one thing that you learn from using it a lot is that it's not actually very good at that, right? Like you can say, "Hey, I have an idea for this," and it will give you something pretty good, but other than that,
like the part of ideas, part of things that have been done. AI can only think from within that box, right? It's not going to step out tomorrow and think outside the box.
Right.
It's
well, so just thinking about the way that they work, because we, the next big thing for us in standards is, from that perspective, is that world for networking, and the automation aspect. The thing that I caution people about is, if we start relying on it too much for the agentic stuff, then you're going to start to see some of the same like annoying issues pop up.
All the resumes nowadays start in that place.
Yes. Right. No, exactly. Right. And start to think about what that means for network automation. It's like, okay, so it's eventually you're going to end up getting these situations where it's like kind of circling the drain on making the same choices over and over and over again that aren't very rich.
That's why it's good for boilerplate stuff, logging functions, right? Yeah. Documenting your code. Those are things that are repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
Great. Right. Let's go get those automated.
Right. Much to Lincoln's chagrin, it's not very good at making PowerPoint slides that look good.
But that might come. That might come in the future, which I'm looking forward to. Right? Yeah. But I think the uniqueness from human brain is the ability to think outside the box, which doesn't matter what you put at the AI. At least my take is, you have to step it to do that.
Right. And it will go in the direction that you tell it to go, which is the thing that I always find funny about the people who treat it as like sci-fi AI.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, ChatGPT became super racist, or ChatGPT said that it wanted to kill all humans or whatever, right? It's like, that's because it knew that that's what you were getting at.
Correct.
Right? It's like you're teasing these little things trying to get it to say something. It knows what you're trying to get it to say.
It's this is where that guardrail needs to be there to say, okay, this is your limit, right?
Yeah.
It's because if you let it sit there, a lot of people think about it, right? If you let AI sit there, is it actually thinking? No, it's not.
Right. And if you watch it, like if you do that enough, you'll see that like eventually the threads just starting getting super repetitive and it's not adding any more value.
It's an event driven. You ask for something, it comes back with, it runs calculations to all these GPUs, right? Powering gigawatt consumptions. And it comes back with its answer, and then that's it. Yeah.
He said, taking a drink of water. Yeah. So yeah, just it's not that was a tangent. I don't think it's a tangent. Like just in terms of, we talked about that as the next interesting thing about coding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is because I really do think that it makes some things so much easier that didn't have to be hard. And when those things are easier, we'll move on to becoming experts about other things.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, it's just like a calculator. It's like, oh, now I don't have to do this thing. Well, now I can spend my mental energy doing this. Right.
Yeah, but you still need to know the basics, how to calculate things.
Right.
Similarly, you will still need to know how to program things out.
Right.
You still need to know the fundamentals. You need to learn those stuff. But, just like how we went from assembly language coding to C and C++ and Java object-oriented stuff, I think there will be new constructs for programming. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be just prompt engineering. I think prompt engineering is more for prototyping.
Right.
I think new constructs have to be there for new blocks, building blocks for programming. When I went through my undergrad, we learned how to code in assembly language, right? But you need to know how that programming equipment works.
You're right. You're never going to do this, but you do need to know that it exists.
Exactly. What are the registers? How is the memory done? Like how does a CPU and GPU interact? All that stuff, right? You need to know those basics.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
But unless you go on to become an AI engineer, then you could shift focus on to other value-added stuff you can contribute.
Right. And it is kind of a great analogy for almost every other technology, because if you think of cars, right, and generations before us that would harp on making sure that you know how to fix your own car.
Yeah.
If you don't have to know how to fix your own car, but if you don't know how it works at all, the likelihood of you having an expensive problem is higher. You don't have to know how to do it or have the facilities to do it, but you got to know what some things mean. So,
or you're going to start to see big fat bills.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's a great analogy, right? Because you will, if you start putting out stuff that is wrong, and you see this not just on the coding side, but you see it on writing in general, right? Marketing. And it's like you said, if you start seeing these posts or these news articles that they forgot to delete the cruft at the end.
That's why you and I are getting the same LinkedIn feeds. So
LinkedIn is so bad. It's so bad. It's to the point where it's like, don't you know that your post sounds like every other post? You didn't bother to look at it at all? Like,
it needs up to that, right? Well, what I mean is that you and I are getting the same feeds, right?
Yeah. So bad. I like it though. I don't know. But it's fun being here, and it's I don't know. I love technology, and it's why we keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
I think there's so much to go from a broadband perspective, right? With all this AI coming into play, it's going to pump up the amount of data that's going to be transmitted from one end to another. And
do you see the reports from the ITF about that? About how like the AI scraping now, in addition to the regular scraping robots, is like 50% of the internet traffic now.
50%, and we generate it. 50% is generated. And then who's now going to be building that and managing that infrastructure for transport? It will come down to broadband, right?
Yeah. Well, and that gets down to what we were talking about today was, that there's two very, very different meanings of that word when it comes to broadband operators and what they need to do. One is networks designed for AI. So building them so that they support what we were just talking about, and can support the applications and, on the stuff that we work on, seeing how subscribers, the actual like consumers of internet access, can take advantage of that stuff or be protected from it. right, as value-added services. Yeah. And then the flip side, then the other is AI for networks, which is how do we get it so that the data is standardized, the APIs are standardized, so that all of the machine learning stuff that we want to use ends up speaking the same language, so that
so 2 parts. So one is the application usage of AI, other one is the infrastructure usage of AI for networks. But I'm amazed though, yesterday at the Broadband Forum plenary sessions, when the AI topic came in, the number of people who knew about MCP, who knew about and was able to talk about, building better APIs for AI. I know this is a very tech world, and everybody there is with a tech background. But the fact that a lot of people have been very interested and knowledgeable and gaining insights into where AI is headed, it's very positive.
Yeah, no, it's very cool, and it gives me hope that other people are solving that problem and building literally protocols, right? So MCP is a protocol built for exactly this purpose it's a protocol for giving access to large amounts of data for the AI to consume and then to use, right?
Yeah. It's great.
It's neat.
And it's almost like, we talk about the world is flat, right? This was about 20 years ago. World is flat because everybody has access to everything.
Yeah.
And now it's just, I think even with AI, you see people coming together even closer, right? Yeah. Because everybody is using the ChatGPT. So everybody's using the 3 or 4 tools out there. The technology is driving how people are interacting with each other. I think it's a great medium to rally the crowd, but also set the pace for where we're going to be in the next 10 years, 20 years. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. And then I like how the culture evolves with it, so that the jokes keep up.
Yes. So
the memes keep up.
Let's see if you got this LinkedIn post. So there was an article from HBR, Harvard Business Review, that said, how close is ChatGPT to you as a citizen of a country?
Right.
So they drew a two-dimensional graph, and ChatGPT is more closer to the Western cultures of Canada, US, a number of European countries. Not all of them are aligned with where ChatGPT is, but then you start to see bubbles that extend Asia, Africa, and other parts of the world. So the way that ChatGPT has been trained and be able to give you output is more aligned in terms of values of
That's interesting.
That's very interesting. So now, that's a, I don't want to say a wake-up call, but that's an interesting data point for somebody to say, okay, now let's expand it.
Okay.
Let's expand it so it covers the wider world and everyone sees.
Right. But that's interesting, because I wonder if, not knowing anything about how it would end up processing that learning, but will it eventually normalize? Oh man, that just blew my mind open, because I've always said, I love language, and I almost went to school for it. And one of the things that was a wake-up call for me was realizing that you can't really understand another language, really, until you understand comedy in that language, right?
Fair enough.
Right? Yeah. That's when you do it, right?
Yeah.
So, spin that forward to the LLMs learning other cultures. I wonder if it will start to normalize, comedy is just an example, but will it start to normalize attitudes about responses,
or having multiple personalities.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Because
it is different, right? When you go from one culture to another, this is again not just talking about the knowledge, right? The knowledge is consistent across the board, but it's how you interpret. It's like understanding comedies from Korean to Japanese to different parts of the world, and how you interact with the chatbot, right? How it spits out. So right now it's multilingual, which is great, and multilingual in a sense. You could say, define me this. You could write it in English, but say put the word in Portuguese or Spanish, and it will still interpret it. It will give me the right answers. But taking that to the context of now you're interacting with a Portuguese individual.
Oh yeah, right. So, will it know? Does it actually know that that's how someone would actually talk, right? Because I think about this all the time, because even with just regular translation, because with the new AirPods, right? which I would love to get, but I usually wait like a year before they put stuff out. Right.
That's the one that both individuals
Right, the
have.
Babelfish, right? It's the Babelfish, which I think is totally amazing. It'll totally change my life, at least, right? Given what we do and where we go, right? But I always think, I'm like, well, wait a minute. It's doing the translation for your convenience.
Yeah.
But the translation will never be literal. You can't, there are thoughts that you can't have unless you have them in the other language, right?
If I have a different view. I think it would, because it's going to rely on the context that it's been trained on, and that is based on that language. So I think it will have to abstract out the meaning out of English and then spit it out in French or...
Right. And I imagine it will, I hope and imagine it'll get very good at that, but I wonder if there are any concepts that don't translate.
Right, sure. Which even human translators run into, right?
Yeah.
So,
See, what did he say?
it has to come back to that limitation of what we provide as the input, right?
Right.
There's no magic here, right?
I saw an article where they did a study of what the best language to speak to ChatGPT was, like in terms of it giving you the best responses. I don't remember how they measured what best was, but it was like, it turns out it was Polish.
Polish, okay.
I was like, okay.
I mean, there's a whole discipline that's coming up, the prompt engineering aspect, right? And someone was, different theories. It's what GPT is. Like, have you ever looked at what an LLM model looks like? So let's say I have a trained LLM model. I can zip it up and send it to you, right? That's that knowledge base, which is essentially probability scores on a multidimensional matrix. Yeah. Right. So someone was trying to say, like, don't ask the generic questions. Try that so that it could go onto the edges of the matrix. I'm like, is that? I don't know. I'm personally not convinced that you need to have a separate discipline for prompt.
Right. Well, also, right. How can you possibly do that?
Yeah. So people, the individual who I was listening to said, ask questions so that you give it a personality.
Right.
So, think like this individual. Now tell me the answer from that person's perspective.
Right.
Okay. So you're pushing it a bit, right? So that it's hitting different notes. But at the end of the day, I think you will eventually get smart enough that it will know what to give you. I don't think you need to become an expert in terms of prompting.
Right. Oh, and it's funny to talk about like people's fake job titles coming out of this, like prompt engineer and teaching prompt engineering.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That title happened so fast that it was like, okay.
That's whose jobs are going to get.
Oh, he's like, you're a prompt engineer because you spent like an hour with ChatGPT. And... yeah.
Next iteration of ChatGPT comes up, it knows how to do that. Then you're on his job, right?
Actually, not for nothing, but that's one of the things that I appreciate the most is when they moved DALL-E into ChatGPT, right? So the image generation can now be done. Because doing the prompt engineering for DALL-E was mind-numbingly difficult. I did do it. That's so hard, right? To get it to do what you want, like it was really, really difficult. But ChatGPT is great at it, right? And we'll show you the prompt that it used. Right?
Yes, yeah. The other day, but a few weeks back, my daughter in grade 5, she wrote a small story short story for her class. And so she and I sat down and we wanted to generate some images. Like we wanted to turn that into a proper book and we were able to.
Yeah.
You just have to have the patience and give the right instructions to ChatGPT. And it's great at generated graphs.
No, exactly. And it drives me nuts when people complain about that, and it's a lot of people who are my friends who are like, oh, you're putting artists out of business, whatever. It's like, hold on. The 5-year-old making that story was never going to pay you.
No.
Right? Like me doing a vlog for free. I'm not going to pay any artists. But I still need pictures, so.
No, you can't.
Yeah. It's like the people who were already not your customers are still not going to be your customers with AI generation.
Yeah, I think it's a great innovation. It opens up so that everybody can have access to, getting some graphics content out of it. But the uniqueness that an artist brings to the table.
It still will never be that good. And never, I say never, but right now it's not that good.
Right. Or unique or innovative or new.
Right.
It can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's my take. And it's interesting. I think recently one of the AI companies posted a position for a tech writer. Right? First, very well paid position.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So, it's you need that role.
That is hilarious. Because it's like, man.
It was quite well paid. I can't remember the exact dollar figure, but it was like in the mid 200.
Clearly, if they can't replace their tech writers, then. Oh, but if it was really well paid, then that's another indication, right? It's like I was saying, it's like now, and so maybe entry level stuff will be more difficult, but it kind of tells you where you have to build your skill set.
Yeah.
Right. So ChatGPT will be as good as entry level stuff, but the person who has to put the willpower into it to decide what to make and review it, make sure it's good, and take multiple. Because what I ended up doing is, taking multiple iterations of what ChatGPT has sent me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's okay. Oh, that's pretty good. That's okay. And like putting it all together, re-editing it all, right, and making it into something good.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of skill.
Exactly.
Right. That's worth a higher pay rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And few years ago, the ratio of software engineers to hardware engineers were like 10-folds, right? You needed like 10 software engineers to maybe half a person in hardware.
Yeah.
I think that ratio will come down because ChatGPT and other AI tools or coding tools will assist. So you may not need to have that multi-fold ratio.
Right.
But you nevertheless still need.
No. And what's really cool about that is, and this was something I always appreciated about the way that UNH had restructured their computer science program when I was there, was they stopped focusing on teaching particular programming languages. Right.
Okay.
And they moved on to, and they also stopped focusing on the pure academic stuff, right? Like, because there's some professors that are like, oh, computer science is just pure math or blah, blah, blah. You can go that route if you want to. They really focused on the practicality of it, working with a team, working on code that other people have written, right? Like thinking about what you have to do if your code is going to be given to somebody else, right? And so those are the skills that are going to be the most important and remain valuable. You just don't have to do the bullshit work,
Yeah, exactly. I think, entry-level jobs will continue to be there. Otherwise, you're killing the goat, right?
Right.
I mean, at some point,
you have to learn somewhere. Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, like I said about this show, it's like I have no idea where it's going to go when we start.
We should revisit this in a few years. On the topic of AI.
When Robot Jason and Robot Jeevithan are having a conversation with each other. Because, man, if I could have clones, ChatGPT is kind of like having clones. It's nasty. Cool. All right.
Good.
Yeah. So we're going to get back into those meetings in there, unfortunately. It's really nice out here. But thanks for doing this.
I appreciate the good talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And so as usual, do subscribe to this. Subscribe to it on your podcast so you automatically get it. Leave any comments. It's been a while since I've been able to talk about AI at this level rather than trying to talk about it at the nitty-gritty particular use cases. So I really appreciated this. So if you have any questions or comments for me or for Jeevithan, leave them in the comments. The algorithms love those. And above all, own the nerdy things that you love and have fun doing them. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.